Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Canadian Shield. My name is Sterling, and I'm your host. There was an ethics committee meeting, and the MP Khalid completely lost her mind. She completely came off the rails. There was two of the Liberal ministers had decided that MP Brock had hurt their feelings, and they were calling it on a point of privilege. So the one fella came in, and he started talking about his point of privilege, and there was some confusion as to whether or not a point of privilege can be introduced in committee. So the chair, MP Brassard, consulted the clerk and then decided that they were going to have a couple of days to think about it. And MP Khalid, even when the first MP was introducing his point of privilege, she just kept talking and kept interrupting. MP Brassard goes to take a 5-minute consultation with the clerk, and MP Khalid said, "I'm just going to tell the clerk, I just want to say to the clerk some advice before you go on, before you take a break." Then when it became her turn, she just completely, 10 minutes, I cut it at 2 hours, 10 minutes of nothing but her talking about how MP Brock has made her mad, and her interrupting people, and her introducing profanity, and her introducing how she's allowed to say it, but no one's allowed to exercise any rules that she demands that she can exercise at will, at whim. It is quite a breakdown, quite a meltdown. And I think that she must be feeling a lot of pressure in her riding, that they're probably talking about how, she's not doing a good job or something like that. Like her poll numbers must be bad, because this was a completely unparliamentary display of, well, I mean, it's a mixture somewhere between unprofessional and immature. You can decide for yourself. Before I get into it, I would encourage you to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this channel with your friends. If you like it, hit the like button, because it encourages the algorithm to show it to other people who might also like it. Oh, and I have memberships if you feel like you want to support the channel that way. All right, let's get into this complete breakdown.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
No. If I may just add before we suspend.
Just let me suspend, because, to be fair, I have not dealt with this before.
That's all.
I've not. Well, the clerk, I'm sure, doesn't need the help.
I'm not sure which, specifically which point of order he's referring to from the standing orders, Chair.
Relevance is the first thing, Chair.
On a question of privilege, Chair.
Has the floor, Chair.
So, Ms. Khalid, can you hang on, please? Go ahead, Mr. Barrett.
Thanks, Chair. My understanding from the Green Book and from our standing orders is that the role of the Chair in such instances is to determine whether the matter raised does in fact touch on privilege and is not a point of order, a grievance, or a matter of debate. If the Chair is of the opinion that the member's interjection deals with a point of order, a grievance, or a matter of debate, or that the incident is within the powers of the committee to deal with, the Chair will rule accordingly, giving reasons. The committee cannot then consider the matter further as a question of privilege. Should a member disagree with the Chair's decision, the member can appeal the decision to the committee, like, for example, moving a motion or sustaining the decision of the Chair, for example. The committee can then sustain that decision. So I really would encourage that we can come to a conclusion on this sooner rather than later, Chair, as is the precedent set by previous chairs.
Go on the same point of order. Go ahead, Ms. Khalid.
If we can just perhaps have a decision as to whether or not this matter presented to you is a matter of privilege or not, and then you can rule on it at a later time.
Well, herein lies the difficulty. As I explained earlier, I am not sure whether it actually constitutes a matter of privilege. On the same point of order, go ahead, Ms. Khalid.
Thank you, Chair. Page 623 of the book. Proceedings of the House are based on a long-standing tradition of respect for the integrity of all members. Thus, the use of offensive, provocative, or threatening language in the House is strictly forbidden. Personal attacks, insults, and obscenities are not in order. And I think that based on what I've heard today, that is exactly rules that have been broken.
Okay, thank
so,
you.
Chair,
Thank you, Mr. Barrett.
I challenge your ruling.
I haven't. I made a. Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. My ruling is that I'm going to come back to the committee, which I think is the prudent and pragmatic thing to do. Seriously?
I am challenging the integrity and what decisions have been made, how much abuse members of this committee have taken.
Well, that's
based on the
subject to
actions
your
of,
opinion, and I think
it is not subject to opinion, Chair. That's the whole point of it.
It is.
That is what the Green
but it's
Book,
not
that is
your
what our
point of
standing
privilege,
orders
Ms.
are
Khalid.
telling you, Chair, to do.
I'm not determining whether you
Chair,
have.
you are under obligation to make sure
I'm not.
that
I'm
our
not. I'm
committee
not going to argue
functions
with
in
you.
an
I'm not going to
effective way.
argue with you on this. So now that we've dealt with that, I'm just going to remind committee members that we are back on committee business.
Chair, I have another point of order.
Go ahead on your point of order, Ms. Khalid, please.
Thank you. And my point of order refers specifically to Chapter 13 of the House of Commons Procedure and Practice, 3rd edition, on the Standing Order number 18, on Standing Order 116 sub 1. And it is in relation to actions that Mr. Brock on this committee took against me last week in putting out a public statement that put myself in jeopardy, that created a lot of negative angst towards me, and I believe that it violates the standing orders that have been laid out with respect to how parliamentarians are supposed to conduct themselves in the House and in the committee. This is not the first time this has been done, and I would hope that this is the last time that it is done. And I'm more than happy, Chair, to start reading to you.
Yeah, Ms. Khalid, I'm going to stop you there because I'm not sure whether was it related to committee business?
Indeed, it was, Chair. It was very much related to committee business, where Mr. Brock filibustered.
Point of order.
Was it in the meeting itself?
Yes, it
That's what I
was,
have to be
indeed.
clear.
Point of order. Like a substantive.
I haven't finished speaking to my point of order, if that's okay.
They have what?
I have not finished speaking to my point of order.
Okay, so
I would like to outline exactly what happened that helped violate the rules that I have pointed out, which is Standing Order number 18, Standing Order 116.
If you feel that way, would you
sub
not
1.
want to raise a point of privilege then, similar to what Mr.
I am
Baines
raising a
did?
point of order because clearly, Chair, you're going to take a while to rule on any points of privilege. Sure. You know what? In that case, I would more than happy to do a point of privilege in that case then.
Okay. So we have another question of privilege being brought up by Ms. Khalid. So if you want to go ahead, Ms. Khalid, on your point of privilege.
Absolutely, Chair. Last week, which was May 21st, I believe, during committee, Mr. Brock put out a tweet that said, disrespect in ethics committee, ! The level of disrespect from Ikra Khalid during committee is beyond words. Her back is literally turned towards committee members, disgraceful. Now, my understanding of the orders, the standing orders, and the rules for House procedure is that this tweet violates my privilege, Chair, and I will show you exactly how. So I will read to you some of the emails that I have received. I will talk to you about some of the
Point of
phone
order,
calls
Chair.
that I have received. No, please don't
Point of order,
interrupt
Chair.
my privilege here.
Point of order, Chair.
Just bear with me here. I'm going to suspend for a minute. Okay? Thank you. Now, I know, Ms. Khalid, that you mentioned something about a Twitter post from last week. I'm going to say this with respect, that I'm not interested in becoming the Twitter police. Okay? No.
Chair, you know what,
but let me explain. If you have an issue, I'm also going to remind members as well, and I'm reminding you, Ms. Khalid, that anything that happens outside of this committee, whether it's a social media post or otherwise, is a matter that can be taken up by the Speaker of the House of Commons.
Point of order,
Twitter.
Chair. I'm not sure why you're litigating this matter. I would like
I'm
to speak
explaining
for what
again
I have,
where my
what I
position
have
is, but I'm-
experienced based on the actions
Right.
of committee members.
So explain the actions.
So I
That's
am
the point I'm
absolutely
making.
trying to do
right?
that, Chair, but you're.
But I'm not. But I don't, Ms. Khalid. Respectfully, I don't want to be the Twitter police. Twitter feed of what they're saying.
I'm trying to
So-
speak to, Chair. That is exactly
So I'm going to
what
allow
I'm
you to
trying to speak to.
continue with that expectation. So
Chair,
go ahead.
all I want is an apology for putting my safety and security in jeopardy by a member of this committee. That is all I am asking. And I can tell you how much hate I have received on social media. I can read it into the record, how many emails I have received, how many phone calls, people calling me and telling me that I'm a because a member feels that I turned my back to him. And I am just trying to look out for myself, Chair. I am trying to look out for
Miss
safety.
Khalid.
No, Chair, you know, you have talked over me and over me and over me, and all I am looking for
I'm gonna ask
is
you
an
to use
apology,
use
and I am
appropriate
looking for
language,
a
that's all.
deletion of that tweet. That is all I am asking for, Chair.
So can I ask, why are we utilizing committee time? If you have a problem with what Mr. Brock said,
Chair,
you can approach Mr.
respectfully,
Brock.
Chair, I don't believe that is possible. When the actions that are highlighted on social media during committee by members have severe consequences for somebody like myself, I'm sorry, Chair, I am not a terrorist. I am not a I am not the hundred bazillion things
point of
that
order,
I get
Chair.
called on a daily
Point of
basis
order, Chair.
because
Point of order,
my
Chair.
colleagues
Just hang on a second,
put
hang on a
me
second.
in that position,
Point of
Chair.
order,
Can
Chair.
you please stop cutting me off?
Point of order, Chair.
I am
I'm asking
trying,
for some decorum.
I
Point
am
of order, Chair.
trying very hard, Chair.
Point of order,
to
Chair.
get my
Point of order, Chair.
viewpoint
Okay.
across here to raise a
no,
very
Point of
severe
order,
Just hang on,
concern.
Michael. I hear your point of order. So, Ms. Khalid, I'm going to ask.
Why
of
am
order,
I
Chair.
the only person in this room that keeps getting cut off?
Point
here,
of order, Chair.
I'm not. He's got a point of order. I'm going to go to. I'm going to go to Mr. Barrett on a point of order, similarly to what I do with you when you raise a
Whoa.
point of order. Okay.
Correspondence and calls that are not from a member of this committee and that were not solicited or invited by a member of this committee. And Chair,
Mr.
Chair, no,
Mr.
Chair,
Mr.
Chair,
Barrett.
These calls
I hear
came
your point,
strictly
sir,
from
okay?
So this
a
is
tweet
again
from that
gratuitous.
member
This
while
this has
the committee
nothing
was
to
still
do.
occurring.
This has nothing to
No,
do
no,
Ms.
Chair,
Khalid,
with my
Ms.
colleague.
Khalid,
This has nothing to
please,
do with
Mr.
my
Barrett.
colleague.
Him off too,
I
Chair.
I
This has
am.
nothing
Why
to
is
do
it
with my
always-
colleague.
I can't have
has
screaming
nothing to do with
across
my
the
colleague.
table. I can't have screaming across the table for the sake,
That's a very
for the sake,
gender-biased statement to make.
well,
Chair,
I
Mr.
can't
Fisher
have
and Ms.
loud
Khalid both
voices.
interrupted me while I was on a point of order.
okay, just,
Now, a couple of things I got to say. First of all, she was absolutely screaming, and I don't know what she said, kind of, I don't know, like, but it sounded like screaming to me. She spent her whole, first 2 minutes talking about how you're not allowed to use profanity, you're not allowed to interrupt people, and then she proceeded to use profanity and interrupt people. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what people said to you. I don't care any of that. If you want any respect from me, you got to follow the rules that you expect other people to follow. You can't be a hypocrite. I got no time and no place for a hypocrite. What are you talking about? Practice one set of rules. They apply to everybody. If you think it's not okay to interrupt you with a point of order, she didn't even say point of order at the end when Barrett, MP Barrett was talking. She just piped up. She didn't even say point of order. She was just lashing out, acting very immature, acting very unparliamentary, if you want my opinion. I don't think that MP Brock saying that she turned her back. See, there's a rule. You're not allowed to turn your back to the chair. You're not allowed to turn your back while you speak. It's a rule. You're not allowed to show your back to a whole host of examples when you're in the parliamentary building, or even I think in regular courtrooms. Like, I'm not 100% sure, but like showing your back to people is the rule, though. That's why he said it. And if people decided that they were going to get upset about MP Brock saying that at her, like, first of all, who believes that she answers her own telephone? Because I certainly don't. And secondly, I don't know why anybody who's answering the phone would tell her that message. I think that she might have got people on Twitter agreeing with Mr. Brock, and then she just took that in. That's why she's like, oh, delete that tweet, because it has all the things in it that she doesn't want to hear. And I have no patience for a member of parliament who is demanding there be censorship. Not any at all. No sympathy, no nothing. This is exactly why we need censorship, because it is not right for her to turn her back. That's a violation of the rules. But she doesn't like to hear it, so all of a sudden she decides that she's going to censor. This is exactly why free speech was invented, so that people couldn't decide that their position in society allowed them to do things that others were not permitted to do. Your royal dukeness, your royal kingness, your royal, all these different kind of people from the time that when freedom of speech was put in. Now, that's a different video. I just wanted you to see the lady break down and go bonkers, or excuse me, wacko, Anyway, I'm going to wrap here. I want to thank you all for listening. I would appreciate it if you would like, comment, subscribe, share this video on your socials. I'll talk to you next time.